Well, Vexl is a mobile app that is peer-to-peer, like the way it was intended to be. So what we do differently is we're not a wallet, we're not an exchange, we don't touch Bitcoin, we don't touch fiat. What we do is help you connect with your friends and friends of friends to be able to trade privately with each other.
Welcome back to another episode of Bitfinex Talks. I'm your host, Ricardo Martinez. Today, I am very excited to welcome Grafton Clark from Vexl. He's the head of growth at Vexl, and I met him in Lugano at the Plan B conference, and I'm very, very happy to have him on the show to talk about exactly what Vexl is. Grafton, how are you today, man?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. It's getting finally starting to feel like winter around here. So, yeah, hanging in there.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to it. The ski season starting and everything.
Are you guys already getting snow?
No, not yet, but yeah, that's one of my favorite times of the year. Yeah, ski trips.
Nice. Well, Grafton, for those who are not aware, what is Vexl? How would you describe it?
Well, Vexl is a mobile app that is peer-to-peer, like the way it was intended to be. So what we do differently is we're not a wallet, we're not an exchange, we don't touch Bitcoin, we don't touch fiat. What we do is help you connect with your friends and friends of friends to be able to trade privately with each other. So you start to see like that's how I want to trade, because when I have mutual friends in common with someone, it allows me to be certain that the person I'm meeting is not going to, scam me or anything like that. I can start meeting trusted contacts. And so that's what we're doing. We're just kind of, we call ourselves like peer-to-peer Tinder for Bitcoiners, because we want you
Okay.
to meet the counterparty that allows you to trade Bitcoin or goods and services as well. We've seen farmers selling eggs and people selling frozen octopus and horses and all kinds of stuff for Bitcoin. So yeah, it's pretty cool how it's starting to catch on.
Okay, amazing. One of the things that I found really, really interesting about Vexl is that you guys are not like a business per se. It's a
No.
nonprofit, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, we kind of call ourselves like a gift from Satoshi Labs, but we have no plans for monetization ever. We are a tool that I want, that you probably want as well. So that's why we're building it. It's open source. It's completely free, will always be. And we're basically just supported purely by donations through our foundation. And yeah, we just hope that people use it. And if you use it and you enjoy it and you want to say thank you, like absolutely, please, we definitely thank you for your support. It all helps.
Okay. And then for trading on Vexl, say I want to buy some eggs from like this guy that's selling eggs.
Yeah.
Like, can I send on Lightning or on chain, or how does that process work?
Well, I mean, we really encourage people to meet face to face, right? So how else are you going to get your eggs? I'm not going to ship your eggs through the post, right? So
Yeah.
Lightning allows us to, meet up, create an invoice really quickly, and trade and go. So just like you would go to the farmer's market here locally, we want you to be able to not have to wait until Saturday to go buy Bitcoin, or that's the other thing, right? Is it's the farmer's market mentality. Is a lot of people look at your community and how you support your community, and you go, oh well, every Saturday I go to my local farmer's market. Or how do you buy Bitcoin? Oh well, every Thursday we have a Bitcoin meetup where I go. But what Vexl kind of allows you to do is to leverage that web of trust that you have so that you can trade every day of the week. So if today's the day you need eggs, instead of waiting for Saturday, you can find that farmer on Vexl who's selling eggs, meet him in person, get the eggs. I give you Bitcoin, we walk away. But I want to bring up, like, again, that we call like peer-to-peer Tinder, because it's like, well, you use Tinder because maybe you're feeling lonely and you want to meet somebody. But once you establish that trust with the person that you meet on Tinder, and maybe you guys start dating, you're not using Tinder anymore to talk to each other, right? You switch that over to Signal or WhatsApp or whatever platform you might use. And the same goes for Vexl, is if you meet your egg guy on Vexl, you don't need to contact him on Vexl every time you want to buy eggs. You guys could just become contacts, and then you message him directly when you want to buy eggs. And the same goes for Bitcoin. People who earn Bitcoin, who need to sell Bitcoin to pay rent locally, or there's always, always somebody selling. We want you to meet that guy. And then the next time you need to buy Bitcoin, you don't actually have to open up Vexl and do it on Vexl. You just send that guy a message directly. So you meet your peer-to-peer Tinder date. And then you start knowing each other a little bit more, and maybe every time you contact them. So nothing actually happens on our platform. Nothing. We connect you. We don't touch anything else. All of your chats are end-to-end encrypted. We have no knowledge of what happens. We just really want people to be able to contact each other privately to trade freely.
And for example, I'm in Colombia. So like if I'm using Vexl to search for goods and services, people to trade with, is there a way to like specifically like hone my search into like my region of where I'm at, so I don't see all these results from like across the world?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Vexl works locally, right? That's as your community starts to grow, yes. In the app, we do have like a map feature as well, so you can narrow and filter your searches based on location. If you're somebody like me who has friends, all over the world, and I travel a lot, depending on where I am right now, of course, I'm going to see more offers in some places than others because that's where the network is growing. But you can absolutely filter your offers based on location, these things, to make it easier for you to kind of go through them. But that's what I really see is if you want Vexl to work, right, you got to tell people about it. Peer-to-peer without KYC is something that, we took for granted while we had it. And then now it's hard to buy Bitcoin peer-to-peer. And I think we all have an experience, if you've been in Bitcoin for a long time, going through that and know the challenges of trying to buy Bitcoin peer-to-peer without KYC. And I think Vexl just, makes that a lot easier for people. So if you're already buying, Bitcoin in Telegram groups or in other ways, Vexl really helps you kind of continue to do that, but in a way that we think scales a lot better and improves on it, and is far more private and far more discreet.
What would you say is like the primary motivation that inspired the creation of Vexl?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at where we were in the past, right, we had something called local Bitcoins. I don't know if you're familiar with local Bitcoins.
Yeah, that's where I bought my first Bitcoin.
Yeah, and these platforms it were great, until we started to realize that as they grow, they have scaling problems, and you introduce strangers to the platform, and the reputation system is flawed in a lot of ways. So actually the inspiration, I believe, came from one of our co-founders, Slush. He was just thinking, hey, I used to use local Bitcoins. It's not around anymore. How do we make something, that is censorship resistant, that is future proof, that we can, carry on that torch, but in a way that improves upon it. And I think that's, where the idea came from, and how Vexl is and why it's thriving now is because it does fill a vacuum that was, we're missing that. And now we have it again. Yeah.
Okay. And you just brought up local Bitcoins. Like how, for people that haven't used the app, like how similar would you say it is to the local Bitcoins experience?
Yeah, I mean, you can create an offer, right? But it allows you to trade locally, peer-to-peer with cash, right? So you're meeting other people at the statue at 3:00 to give you cash and you give me Bitcoin, or vice versa, right? Or eggs or honey, whatever. But it's different with the reputation as well, because like when you open up the app, number one, it's super user friendly and intuitive. So like anybody can open it and learn how to use Vexl in a matter of minutes. You create an offer or you browse the marketplace that you see. What's unique about Vexl is that there is no public book. There is no public order book or anything like that. You're only going to see offers that are in your private network. So I will only see offers from my friends and my friends of friends, right? So when I look at, reputation-based systems of star-based reputations, those are easy to gamify and easy to kind of, inflate or whatever. But with Vexl, you're really trading on your reputation. So if you see something in the marketplace, I have, and I want to be able to buy Bitcoin this way. Well, I have every incentive to behave correctly when I'm doing trades and to respect the counterparty because I want my reputation. And if, you tell me, if I meet you for a trade and it goes bad, then me, and Ricardo's going to tell all of Grafton's friends, hey, don't
This guy
trust
ripped
that
me
guy.
off. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And that damages my real world. And I only get one life, man. My online reputation, my online accounts, yeah, those are infinite. But my name, my reputation is me. Right. But what Vexl really does is, well, it does that without KYC, because we all have a friend who has a friend, right? And we know how to identify those friends, right? So without needing to know my name or, my address and my phone number and shoe size and literally everything about me, what Vexl does is it leverages your phone number only, but it does it in a way that's completely private, so no one gets a notification. No one's knowing, who it joined Vexl or anything like that. But the phone number is the oldest social graph in existence, right? Who has my phone number? Well, and who do I use to talk to with it? It's the people that I trust the most. It's, my good friends that I grew up with. It's my colleagues. It's the people that I talk to, a lot. It's also the people that I trust to walk my dog, or, I let into my apartment to clean my house sometimes. So trust is something that, we put a lot of value in, who I trust. And my phone number is what enables to do that. And that's the only way that I can be sure if I have 10 mutual friends with someone, well, there's a pretty good chance that the person on the other counterparty, even though I don't know who they are, because we share 10 mutual friends, it's going to go well and the trade is going to be a nice one. And if I don't feel comfortable, right, because I don't know the identity of the other person, I can ask them to say, like, hey, it looks like we both know Ricardo. So would you be okay if I sent Ricardo a message and you sent Ricardo a message, and if he says you're cool, I'm down, man, let's go, because I trust Ricardo and he's not going to recommend me anyone who screw me over. So, and then if we do meet, even without me knowing the counterparty's name, if it goes bad, I'm going to tell you, Ricardo, and you're going to never trust that guy or recommend him again. So,
yeah.
That is what I believe we are doing completely different. Something that is, no one else is doing. Of course, we're doing that in a free way. It's free for everyone. And there's no discrimination. There's no permission needed. Anyone can use our app. Anyone. It's open source. Go use it. Right.
Yeah, it's amazing. So you mentioned this principle of like a web of trust, right? Like that you have among your friends and family and stuff like that. But are you guys also incorporating like the cryptographic web of trust with like PGP keys and stuff like that?
I mean, no. Right now, like our web of trust is based around your phone number. We're looking in the future, like what other options there are, of course, as we start to develop new social networks, we start to develop new ways to trust each other. But like looking at what a web of trust is, right? Is Facebook is a great web of trust because it's been around for a super long time. I have my high school friends, even my elementary school friends, people that I know that I've connected with. I am not a Facebook user. I have the account, but it's like, I keep it there. But there's not anything really like that. You look at Telegram, which is rife with scammers. I don't trust Telegram. Every day I get something on Telegram from someone. Twitter, I also like, there's not there. Looking at Nostr, maybe there's hope that, this does continue to develop, but we're not there yet. And we want to see what happens. So what do we have in the meantime? Well, that's where Vexl comes in, right? Your phone number is not shared with us. We don't know anything about you. The only information we have about any of our users whatsoever is what country they're from. Your phone number is hashed locally on your device. The hashes are used to build out your network. That's it.
And then your DMs are encrypted, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, you're and all of this is separate. Everything we have a great blog about this on our website to go check out how we handle data and the data separation, right? So your profile is separate from your chats are separate from your contacts, and they never communicate with each other. And the key, everything happens on your device. That's it, right? So, I do think that, we're something completely different. And we need to get the word out. We need people to say, hey, we can do this better and differently. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that completely. You just mentioned Noster. Are there any plans in the works for like incorporating either Noster or some other form of like decentralized social media to kind of like bring your contacts in, I guess, like followers from
Sure.
Noster and stuff like that?
Yeah. And I mean, that's something that as of right now, no, because we are 5 people and a dog, right? So it takes a lot to maintain the app. In the beginning days, we were using some external, but now everything is done in house. So looking at, future plans, we have to wait and see what Nostr is doing. But right now, we're absolutely focused on building the easiest to use peer-to-peer Bitcoin experience and app that you can have, right? And all I could say is to that is like, if Nostr continues to develop the way it does and continues to grow, then it's something that we hope we can look at these things in the future. Yeah.
Okay.
But right now, no immediate plans to integrate Nostr.
Okay. And then I guess I know you don't have like hardly any information about the users, but do you have like any sort of estimates of how many people are currently like using Vexl?
Yeah, actually, you can visit our website, which is like vexl.it. We joke it's like it's not an Italian domain. It's how do you get Bitcoin? You Vexl it. So vexl.it, and on there we actually have a leaderboard, so you can see the growth in your country. As I said before, we know approximately what country you're from, and we know approximately how many like users the site has. Or the app has. We are well over 12,000 at this point. You can track that like on our website, and we are growing, by the day. But we are definitely growing, and that is because of people like you that are talking about the app, that are using it. And it's like I use the Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner mentality, which is if you build it, they will come, and we've seen that they are coming. So, you can actually go to our website, you can track the leaderboard, and you can see what kind of connections are being made in your country. And this is possible connections. This shows and demonstrates that social web of trust to show how we're all connected to each other. But as far as like, do I know if trades are actually happening or not? No, we have no knowledge. We have anecdotes. I browse my, Vexl market, place, and I see an ad for frozen octopus, and I'm like, this can't be real. Like, no way. Like, this is a joke. And then 2 days later, I'll see someone on Twitter in their backyard holding up the frozen octopus and saying, you'll never believe what I bought on Vexl with Bitcoin, right? So this is what's really cool about it, is the community aspect that's kind of really taken off. And, if you have a local Bitcoin only community, if you guys are already talking about this kind of stuff, Vexl really helps you. So keep talking about it, keep talking more, and start talking about how much easier it is to be able to buy Bitcoin peer-to-peer than it is to sign up on a centralized exchange that's KYC hell. It's that simple. Is for a lot of people, KYC puts a bad taste in your mouth. It's a hurdle that a lot of people don't want to go through or jump over just to buy $50 to $100 worth of Bitcoin, because that's what they can afford at the moment. And I do this all the time when I tell my friends, is buy yourself a beer every day. Well, to be able to do that in Bitcoin with an exchange easily, you got to go through a huge hurdle to be able to do that. With Vexl, you can post an ad saying, I want to buy myself a beer worth of Bitcoin every day. And someone will reach out to you and say, I'm the guy, I'm here to help you do that. Because that's what communities do is if it's a weird ad for some strange request to say, I want to leave centralized exchanges behind, help me buy, €5 a day worth of Bitcoin, DCA, I promise you, you're going to find somebody who's like, I'll help you do that. Right. And that's really the magic of it, is when you're trading with people, and you're having fun doing it, and you're learning from each other, and you're building something that you'll always have.
Yeah, I can see that. So you mentioned the leaderboard, right? And I'm kind of curious as to like which countries have like the most thriving Vexl communities.
Well, I mean, we are Czech, right? We are from the Czech Republic. I'm not, but I've been here long enough. I'm starting to become an honorary Czech. I have like reverse culture shock anytime I go home to the States. But in Czech Republic, right, it is becoming, pretty much the way to buy Bitcoin. It's very easy. We have a growing user base here, even since we launched. But Slovakia as well. Then coming in, I think pretty close is Germany. Germany's growing rapidly at the moment. But Canada, surprisingly as well. We found some guys that are really helping us kind of locally in these areas, bootstrap it and kick it off. So, that's also what we need as well. Like if you're interested in helping us and if you want it to work, like reach out and we want, if you have a meetup or if you want to host something, we're here to support you as well. Do that and build your community. But right now, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Germany, Canada. But you start to see things popping up, in countries like Namibia or Nigeria or places where they have a big need for Vexl. So that's, but I would say everywhere, Vexl is available everywhere, except, United States, North Korea, China, and Iran, which is weird to put those guys in a group together. But yeah, I mean, it's growing. So it's just a matter of time, as they say, gradually, then suddenly.
Yeah. I like how you guys have kind of virtualized the Bitcoin meetup experience, because a lot of times that I bought Bitcoin peer-to-peer, it's been at like meetups or like sold Bitcoin, just like a little bit to a friend or something like that.
Yeah.
You guys have kind of taken that experience and virtualized it. Vexl is also like a tool for cypherpunks, and I know you guys are mostly Bitcoiners, but you also have Monero trades and stuff like that happening on Vexl as well, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's like, Vexl's built for Bitcoin, right? But people discover a new tool and they go, did you realize I can do this with it? And, that's where we talk about having, farmers selling their eggs in the app, right? Is we didn't expect that in the beginning. Hi, my dog is coming to tell me he's hungry. But we didn't expect that in the beginning. And so you also have seen people, it is a marketplace. There is a category, a section in the marketplace that's like, I'm searching for something else. So, you can absolutely post what you want there. If you're looking for, Monero, if you have Monero to sell or any like other thing, it's entirely up to you. We don't censor, anything. We have, it's up to you what you want to appear in the marketplace. We don't have any knowledge of it. So if you see something that you don't like, you flag that and it removes it from your network. So you won't see it and your friends won't see it. But yeah, I mean, I only see mine. So of course in mine, there are people selling Monero. Yes, there are people selling eggs and frozen octopus. So yeah.
Okay. And then like, what about employment? I know a lot of people wish they could work in Bitcoin and receive Bitcoin as pay. Like, are there job offers and stuff like that also in the marketplace?
Oh man, yeah, that's one of the coolest things. Is one of my favorite posts I saw in there was someone doing I offer full stack development, and then hearing the story of them finding a job. So yeah, if you're a plumber, an electrician, whatever, say, hey, I'll fix your leaky pipes for Bitcoin. Because that's in the same, I search for something else. You're offering a good or a service. And so that's why we look to aim and really support local circular economies. Bitcoiners like paying, in Bitcoin, they like helping other Bitcoiners, this kind of thing. So yeah, absolutely. Or if, you're not sure about, leaving your fiat job behind and are curious about Bitcoin, you can absolutely do some freelance stuff on the side to earn Bitcoin. And maybe that turns into a permanent thing. But the beautiful thing about it is you're seeing how you're connected with each other. So if you have 10 mutual friends, right, that's like, it changes. You don't look for referrals when you've got that many people in common. You can get actual meaningful referrals. And so you absolutely can find jobs, you can find good services, even people, there's all kinds of stuff on there.
Yeah.
Check your network.
What's the besides the frozen octopus? Like, what's some of the strangest things you've seen for sale on
Yeah, I mean horses. Someone was selling a horse. A lot of honey. We have a lot of Bitcoiners who do honey and eggs. But cars, we've seen flats for rent. Yeah, I think we actually have a blog post that combines some of our favorite ones as well. I have to look at it, but a frozen octopus was the top for me. It was just like this, why? And then you realize that, like, yes, it's so cool. But yeah, I mean, all kinds of stuff for sure.
Nice. Since the platform's so open, like, how are you guys safeguarding it from offering like illicit products or like hacking services and stuff like that? That is kind of like the boogeyman in the crypto world.
Yeah, I mean, again, you are only trading with people that you know, right? So if you start seeing some stuff in your network that's what you would consider shady, you need to look
Yeah.
at who your friends are. And that's like that we said is if you don't like something, flag it, right? It removes it from your network. If more than 3 people flag the same offer, even though we don't know the content of the offer, we shadow ban it from the platform. So it doesn't ban that person or block it, but again, it really says a lot about who your friends are. So if I see I only have one mutual friend and it's Shady Guy is the name, I have him tagged in my phone or something, then yeah, I'm probably not going to meet that guy, and I'm not going to trade with that guy, and I'm not going to talk to that guy. But if I start to see like, oh, I have Ricardo and the Shady Guy in common, like, okay, maybe this isn't something that I want in my network, right? So again, you police your own network. You police it. It's up to you. You only see yours. So take care of it and cherish. I cherish and value my own reputation. I sure as hell don't want to damage it.
Yeah, I understand that. So, like, say I have Shady Guy in my list and I want to like remove him, like it's just like a button click or something to get him out of there.
Absolutely. You take him from your go to contacts management and Vexl, boom, click him, he's gone. Right. And you won't ever see it. You can block it as well. And you can't even undo blocking. Once you block somebody, they're gone from your network. Okay. But yeah, I mean, police your own network.
So aside from Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, like what other kind of use cases have you seen emerge from people using Vexl?
Yeah, I mean, even like getting some education as well, which is really interesting. It's like, Bitcoiners, what do they love to do? They love to talk about Bitcoin, right? Yeah. And so we've seen ads, saying, hey, if you're new to Bitcoin, I'm happy to meet and, help you go through some things, which is a great, experience. But we've also seen like meetups organizers saying, hey, we're also on Vexl, but if you see this, come to our meetup. And so I really think the coolest thing I've seen out of all of it is that real community aspect, which is not, when I first learned about Vexl, years ago now. I've been working on the project for quite some time, but that was something that I didn't even foresee. And it wasn't actually until we launched the app that we had people reach out to us and say, hey, I live in a small town. I don't know any Bitcoiners locally. Like, how can I make Vexl work? And it was like, well, host a meetup, right? If you host a meetup, yeah, we'll support you. We'll come. We'll talk about Vexl. We'll introduce you to some other cool guys, and you start trading and you start talking to each other. So this actually happened in Czech Republic. We went to a town called Pilsen. If you know the Pilsner Urquell beer, it's one of the most famous, delicious beers in the world. We went to the city where it was brewed, and a guy hosted a meetup. We went there. There was like 20 something people that showed up on a Wednesday night. We talked about Vexl, and then we left behind a meetup infrastructure. They started it, and again, if you build it, people will come. There are Bitcoiners everywhere, and they're growing by the day, and especially now, right? People are talking about Bitcoin that you go to the office, even if you're in a normie job or on the news or anywhere, you're hearing it. So of course, more and more people are getting interested. And I think that Vexl, that's one of the coolest things to me is really, I didn't know the power of getting people together in a community, talking about Bitcoin, helping each other figure it out, because I really experienced that personally. My friend, he's from America. We play video games together. We've talked about Bitcoin for years, like years. And every time, he's interested, but he could never buy it. because of some introducing some hurdle to him. Oh, I'm an American. I don't have a bank account in the United States, so the exchange won't give me permission to buy Bitcoin. Okay, so try an ATM. I did, but I just want to buy a little, but I have to pay 15% fee on top of it. No, right? So all of these hurdles just made it. He goes, well, I guess I can't buy Bitcoin. It's not for me. And so I've actually told the story many times, but we played video games. I bought a Nintendo Switch in like 2017 at the previous all-time high with Bitcoin because the company I was working for at the time, Alza in Czech Republic, started accepting Bitcoin. One of the largest retailers in the world to start accepting Bitcoin. So I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna buy something with Bitcoin. I bought a Nintendo Switch. We played Mario Kart with friends for like, a couple weeks, and then I put it in a drawer and never touched it again. So I said, dude, I'll sell you my Nintendo Switch, because he was wanting to buy one. He's looking on Facebook Marketplace, all this stuff. I was like, I'll sell it to you, but here's the catch. I only take Bitcoin. So figure it out. And he goes, we've been over this. I can't. I don't know what to do. So I said, open up Vexl, post an ad, and say, my friend will sell me his Nintendo Switch, but I don't have Bitcoin. Help me. 2 hours later, someone contacted him and says, I'm glad to help you figure this out. I didn't do anything. They both reached out to me because I was their mutual connection and asked, is it cool? I said, yep. They met. He helped him get a Lightning wallet set up. He got the Bitcoin in his Lightning wallet, and he immediately sent it to me. And the next day he came over and I gave him his Nintendo Switch, right? And that blew my mind that, of course I could have sold him some Bitcoin, but I was trying to make a point to him that you don't need to only rely on me, that you can actually get out there and you can do something. And it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I have to meet another person. Like, we meet people every single day. I like meeting other Bitcoiners because we have a lot to talk about. I was actually in Slovenia for a conference over the weekend, and it was like, they got into a taxi together, and it's like, if you don't know who you're going to get into a taxi with, it's like, okay, it could go a couple ways. You ride in silence, but if you get in a taxi with another Bitcoiner, you're going to talk for the entire time, right? And I think that's how we are is we are a growing community, and I think Vexl kind of energizes that in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I would agree. We're running out of time, Grafton. Is there anything that I haven't asked you about Vexl that's important for the audience to know about?
Yeah, I mean, again, as I said before, like, we are a nonprofit. We're not a business. We're a tool. So really, if you want to help support Vexl, like, we have a Geyser page where you can go check it out. You can get, the cool t-shirt. We have some other cool stuff on there as well. It's like, we're all Satoshi, but on Vexl, no one knows you're Satoshi, and that's, how it should be. But we just want, to give the tool to the community. If you like it, if you use it, help us out, support us, and help us spread the word. Talk about Vexl, tell your friends, tell your family at Thanksgiving, that, hey, don't buy Bitcoin with these other places. Do it this way, because number one, it's cypherpunk and it's cool and it's the way it was intended to be. It's not a financial institution. Vexl is a giant middle finger to financial institutions. So that's pretty much, what I would, want people to do is, and know about us, is that use us. We're cool. We're open source. Check us out. I always tell people, like, I don't want you to trust me. Be skeptical. You should not be trusting anyone. We are open source. We are free. Check it, use it. But this is the way, is, who do you trust? Well, I trust my friends, and I want to trade with those people, not strangers. So check us out, vexl.it. And if you have any questions about, like, anything, I'm pretty damn easy to find. I'm Sats Disco, like Satoshi Disco, but Sats Disco, everywhere on Twitter, Nostr, YouTube, everywhere. So reach out and let us know how we can help you, especially if you have local Bitcoin community. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then say somebody just watched this episode and they're fired up, they want to download the app. How can they do so?
Yeah, we are available in Google Play store. We are also on iOS, but currently we are in test flight. So if you just go straight over to our website, vexl.it, Vexl it, you can hit the download link. You'll need test flight installed, but if you already have test flight installed, it's as easy as tapping one button and going.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
well,
yeah.
thank you so much for coming
You're
on
welcome.
the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
Fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, indeed. It was super fun talking to you, and I really enjoyed learning about Vexl.
Cool. All right. See you guys.